This is the second film I'm doing with the Gaugemaster Infinity. The first film I looked at adding locos to the roster. I'm doing these films to promote Lenz DCC decoders. That is my source of income from these films, because everything we do we have to buy. So I don't get monetization out of these films. Right, so what I wanted to look at today was the programming of decoders beyond the loco address that we covered in the first film. The Lenz decoders are fully compliant with the DCC standards, and those standards are laid down by two organisations, the NMRA in North America and MOROP in Europe. That means that any system can program Lenz decoders. They fully comply with the lists of CVs and configure all variables. So I've got the loco there on the track. First thing is just how beautiful the decoders control them. I'm going to have a look at some programming features. So we've got our programming track plugged into the programming track port here, and this is this scruffy bit of track here. The programming track is your safety net. It's low power, so if there's any faults in the loco, it won't provide the full 3.5 amps to the loco. So that's more important if you're soldering chips into locos. If it's a plug-in chip, then usually you hope that everything's wired correctly to start with, although I still use a programming track in these cases because we have encountered manufacturers that have some blobby soldering in the past. Okay, so we've got the handset on the main screen. If we press menu, we'll go to option 3, it says more, and you can use the wheel to scroll between all the levels. Program CVs, option 4 is the one we want, so press the button 4. And we're operating on the programming track, so that's option 1. So one of the nice CVs that's worth looking at is acceleration delay on CV3. So it's a handy one to demonstrate the effect of CVs, and it's one that a lot of people might find beneficial. There's a long list of CVs in the manual. A lot of these are for specific cases, so we don't want to get too deep into this. It's particularly unnecessary. Most locos should be okay on the factory settings. But it is there, it's fully explained in English in the middle of the Lenz manuals. So the top one here, if we type in 3, it says CV3, and we'll read it. So actually I've been playing around with this. I've already had it set on a value of 25. If I set it on a low value, so we'll go to the value slot here, and we'll type in 6, which I think is the factory setting, and program. On the programming track, you'll hear the loco ticking. It actually pulses the motor to get a response, and the loco sends back a response to say that it's done it. So it's an acknowledgement system. So you'll see success come up on the screen. If you don't have success, then it could be that you need to clean the pickups or check the pickup system on the loco. So if it can't speak cleanly to the decoder, you may get errors come up. But on a nice shiny new loco like this, we shouldn't have an issue. Okay, so to get out of that, the easiest way actually is just to press the off button once, and it takes you all the way back to the driving screen. So I've got the loco here, and it's got very low inertia. You see it accelerates quite quickly with the throttle. Only got a short length here to demonstrate. So if we go back onto the programming track, I say the manuals tend to always tell you what the factory setting is, and here it's saying 6 for CV3, which is acceleration delay. So we'll go back in to the menu. 3, 4, programming track is 1. So we want to select CV3, so we'll type that in and just pause. If we turn the wheel to the next thing, the value, I'm going to put in a value of 100. The maximum is 255. We'll transfer it back to the main track. And actually we'll press the stop button to come all the way back up to the driving screen again. Now this time I've got a huge acceleration delay on it, so its inertia is high. So even though I've ramped the throttle up, it's only accelerating slowly. I've left the deceleration delay on CV4 alone, so the nice thing is it will stop quickly. But you can make the loco feel much heavier by increasing the braking delay as well. I like them to stop, particularly when I'm working in confined spaces. So CV3 and CV4 are a nice pair of variables that you might like to play with. None of this is compulsory. This is just a programming thing that's fun to learn, not needed to learn. Okay, so there is another form of programming called programming on the main. It's got the loco running on the main track here. It doesn't have the ability to read back values from the decoder, but it can change them, so it's quite handy for things like the acceleration delay or volume on a sound decoder. So it's a similar process as the programming track. We go into the menu, we go to option 3, which is more, program CV is option 4, and the second option now, loco main track. Okay, so there's a few things to note. Firstly, we need to tell it which loco we're sending it to. So here is where notes are needed. This loco is on address 37, so we're sending the instruction out to just this loco. On the main track you risk sending it to everything, so it needs to direct its call, as it were. CV3 was the acceleration delay that we were looking at. And we had it on a value of 100. Let's put it back down to the factory setting of 6. Program. It will say success anyway. It's got have no response at all from the decoder. You won't on the main track. So best way to check that something has changed is go out to drive the loco, and now we can see that the acceleration is massive again. It's accelerating like a scolded cat. So programming on main is quite useful for quick changes where you know where you want it to go to. I still recommend the programming track where you can read out what it was set at. That way you can put it back if the result is not as desired.